I'm Michelle.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This episode will be about the University of Shiga Prefecture. I tried asking a lot of people on Instagram to see what you guys wanted to hear about first. I'm planning to make videos about my study abroad experience from last semester after I talk about Japan. Since it happened a long time ago, I prefer to go back and revisit all of that and then move on into what happened recently, so I can kind of flow with what I've done. Basically, have wanted to go to Japan for a very long time, since I was like 12 years old. And I got connected into the Japanese culture through the movies of Studio Ghibli and just music. I did a lot of research my freshman year of college, and I found the University of Shiga Prefecture program through my university. And I was afraid that it was going to get canceled, I remember, because there were not enough participants, but it still went through, luckily. They had like 7 jobs and 20 credits, so I was eligible to apply for my venture grant, which is a grant that my university gives everyone for like a summer program or internship. So I was eligible and I got the $2,500, and I also worked for a whole year with 7 jobs. It was crazy. And I went there for the 6-week program. It was a 6-week program, and it was going to be a class in culture and language. It wasn't really a class in culture and language, even though that's what they said. It was a little bit more than that. I actually really enjoyed the program. I really recommend it if you ever come to Alma College. The application process was pretty simple. I just had to turn in my application to the study abroad office to my university. They accepted it. Then I had to do all the paperwork for the venture grant, and then I also had to apply to the university and fill out papers for them. And then once the lady in the study abroad office told me that I was accepted and I should buy my tickets, I bought them, but I bought them 3 weeks before. So the reason why I decided to go before is because I really wanted to know if I liked the culture in Japan and if I wanted to live there in the future. I went there and stayed with a host family for 3 weeks in Fukui Prefecture, close to the city of Fukui. And I was there for 3 weeks, and I loved spending time with them. They were like the best host family in the world. I actually met them through the Workaway website. I paid like $30, and you can look for families who are looking for workers. It really depends on the family who like accepts you. There's ones that make you work really, really hard, and there's other ones where they just want you to play with their kids and show them your culture and just like interact with you. And that was the case for me, luckily. I really enjoyed my stay there with the kids and the mom and dad. When I was there, I was able to visit other cities, so that was a big benefit, but I will leave that maybe for another video. This video will mostly focus on the University of Shiga Prefecture experience. After those 3 weeks, I went to the university, and right at the station, the international office staff picked me up in a car with my luggage and all and took me to my apartment. It was really, really nice to be in another prefecture, and it was so like I was on my own for those 3 weeks when I was in Fukui. So going there, the staff was like so helpful, and they wanted me to be comfortable. And when I got to the apartment, it was actually pretty big. You can basically you walked in through the door, and there was like the little area where you have to take out your shoes off. In Japan, it's it's actually stricter than here in the US, where you really have to take your shoes off. You can't go in the house with shoes. And there's also other places like a high school and maybe some other like universities and temples and castles, you'll have to take your shoes off. If you have to, I recommend wearing socks, I guess. I want to say they let you wear socks. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe you can leave down the comment below if you know for sure. So after you walked in through the front door, then you take your shoes off, and then there was like this hallway, and next to me there was like the wash machine where I could wash my clothes, but there is no like dryer. The washing machines in Japan are actually a little bit different than the ones here. I feel like they dry a little bit better, or like they suction the water out a bit better. They don't have dryers there, so we have to hang them up. And it was okay. The only problem with my apartment is that there was no balcony, so I couldn't really hang stuff outside. There was like a fake balcony where I could open the window, but there's no way for me to open the door to like let the air in or something like that, because it was so hot anyway. It was better just to put on the air conditioning and then just dry them inside. Or sometimes it's really good to dry them in the bathroom because there's a suction mechanism that dries the clothes. So that's what I mostly did. Then there was the kitchen. After, like, right in the little hallway, there was like the washing machine, then there was the kitchen, and it was just like one like little like stove area. There was no oven. There's a microwave oven for that. I had to wash my own dishes, and I had to buy my own dishes, but it wasn't really bad. They gave me some like a plate and a fork and simple things, but whatever that I needed aside from that, I would have to go to the store and buy them. But it was really easy to buy stuff in Japan. There was like 100 yen stores, and they basically have everything. It's amazing. I love the like Daiso in the 100 yen store. I miss it so much. So after the kitchen, they provided me with a little refrigerator. It was actually not too little for Japanese standards, but I really liked it. It was perfect for me. And on top of it, there was a microwave oven. Next to that, there was the bathroom, and the bathroom was actually separated from like the bath area and the toilet. It was like two separate rooms. I really love Japanese bathrooms because they are separated and they're so much better than anywhere in the world. They're always clean. They're like really technologically advanced. I love like the mechanism where you can heat up your own bathtub. Like, that's amazing. Here, if I take a long bath and the water gets cold, I'll have to like drain the water and then put more hot water in it. But in Japan, you can conserve the water and just like reheat the water. Not all of the apartments have that feature. So after the bathroom in the apartment, you can go through the living room, and it's not really I don't know if you could call it a living room, but it's like the common area plus living room. There was like a little table with a TV, and there was a closet where I could put my clothes and a small mirror. And then there's also a ladder that led up to the loft up there I would sleep. I decided to sleep upstairs just because there was also like a little box desk in the wall where it's just an opening, and I could just like sit there in the floor and then just like study and do homework. And that's what I would do. I would leave my computer up there because I was too afraid it would fall when I was taking it down. So I just left it up there until like I left. It was really nice to like sleep on a futon for so long in Japan. I can't believe sometimes that I didn't have a bed for such a long time, because with my host family for 3 weeks I had a futon, and then coming to my apartment they also gave me a futon, so it was really different. So when I got there, I was actually the first one who arrived, because the next 1 or 2 days, I want to say 2 days, after 2 days, the other students came. There was only two more other students. They came from Columbia College. There was also a teacher who came, and she was going to be giving like the culture classes. It was interesting because she didn't really study Japanese culture, and she was hired by Columbia College to do the presentations on Japanese culture, but she did a really amazing job. After the first few days, we had a welcome meeting in the university, and the international students, we met them, and they were there for like the whole semester, and they were really nice. They were like from Singapore, China, and some from Australia. I don't know if there were any other American students. I think we were the only ones that came from the US. And then after our meeting, we had the day free. They even showed us where our classes, like our Japanese classes, were gonna be, and they were gonna be from like 9 in the morning, I think, to 12, and then we had like 40 minutes or an hour for lunch, and then we had class from 1 to 3 or 4. They were really helpful. I learned so much. That was my first experience learning Japanese in a classroom, and I enjoyed it. It was a great beginner's class. Now I'm more advanced than a beginner, but I'm not intermediate yet. I want to say that I'm almost there. So a little bit of geography, where the University of Shiga Prefecture is, it's basically like an hour away from Kyoto. And you can get there, like if you land in Osaka, you can get there through the Shinkansen or just the regular express train. And you have to make a connection like in Kyoto and then maybe change train. Hikone is really small, so you basically just take the train up to like next to Lake Biwa, which is a big lake in Japan. I want to say it's the first or second biggest lake in Japan. I'm not sure. Maybe comment below and let me know. The university is literally right next to the lake, and it's so beautiful to walk right next to it. And I met 2 students who were coming to Alma the following year for a whole year as an exchange student. And they were super nice, and I really miss them, so I can't wait to go to Japan and see them again. So the first day of classes, it was really exciting, and the teacher, Keiko sensei, was so amazing, and she was so sweet and nice, and I really miss her. It was a great experience going to class every day, and I really enjoyed everything we did. The culture classes were on a Thursday, and the professor was actually from the US, and he was really cool. The class was called Model USA, so it was basically like Model United Nations, just very easy. It was pretty easy, mostly because I think there's Japanese students in the class, and they don't have that great of a English level like we do. So it was really easygoing, and I met a lot of the Japanese students and the international students, so it was really cool to do that. And then there was also on Fridays, we didn't have Japanese class. We went on a excursion or a culture class. We had tea ceremony, we had a dance Japanese class, and we had a temple visit, a shrine visit. We went to Kyoto and Nara for a day, and the Kyoto trip we actually turned into a weekend trip because we wanted to spend more time there. There were so many things we wanted to see. So we all grouped together and we decided to stay longer. The nice thing about the university is that they provided me with a bicycle, and I was able to go anywhere in that. And I literally spent so many days just biking around Hikone. I went to like the mall, and I went to the station. You basically needed a bicycle or a car to maneuver yourself around Hikone because it's so big. Like you could walk, but it just takes longer, and the bicycles are they're pretty good there. And I was able to experience a lot of cool things. I also joined a couple clubs. I wouldn't say really joined, but I went to a couple meetings with them, and the first was the photography club. Students didn't really know English, so they did their best trying to communicate with me, and we basically walked around the campus and took pictures, and it was so nice and so interesting to be able to communicate with somebody who doesn't know your language. It was the first time me being in a group, and nobody spoke English to me. Like they all spoke Japanese. I was able to meet the vice president of the university, who he was from Peru or lived in Peru, and he was really cool because he spoke Spanish. I speak Spanish too, so it was really cool to meet him and talk to him. I also joined the archery club for a day or maybe 2 days. It was really interesting. The girl she was studying international relations or something in the English language. She was super nice, and she lived in Hikone, and she basically took me there, and I watched how they did the traditional Japanese archery. They said I couldn't really practice, with, like, I couldn't do their Japanese practice with them because I needed practice for like 2 or 3 weeks before I could do that, and I kind of wished I joined right away so I could have maybe practiced a little bit. The cafeteria in the university was really, really big and amazing. I loved how cheap the food was. I think in Shiga University there is 2 cafeterias and 1 cafe. I didn't go to the cafe, but I did go to the like little store, like the little shop where they sell like art material, school material, food and snacks and stuff. It was always super crowded during the lunch hour. I remember that the cafeteria would get really crowded and there was no seating area, so I always had to hurry when the bell rang. I had to run there and get a seat, well, get my food and then get my seat. Otherwise there would be no seating and I'd have to wait a long time before it emptied out. But it wasn't the end of the world. Sometimes I would go home to pick something up and come back, but most of the time I just stayed there. I really liked how the Japanese students encouraged me to speak Japanese. I was always so afraid and cautious about what if I say something wrong or I make myself look stupid. I was so self-cautious about it. I would say like words and like small sentences, maybe like thank you, or like sumimasen, like I'm sorry, or excuse me, and they would be like happy that I would try, but they would get even happier and excited when I would say something like my like whole sentence, like hi, my name is Michelle, nice to meet you. They would be so excited, and it really encouraged me to want to learn more and speak more. It encouraged me. I feel like in other countries, they like, especially in France, they wanted you to speak French and like learn, like know it like perfectly, and I didn't really have a good experience trying to like find my way around France. Like when I was in the Louvre, the people in the Louvre who worked there were not nice at all, like at all. And it was a struggle getting around there. I try to always learn some of the language when I visit a country like where they don't speak English or Spanish. I make sure to learn the basic words like thank you, hello, excuse me, I'm sorry, where's the bathroom, things like that are essential when you go there. Something that I should have done is more research in Japan before I went there, because now that I remember, I got lost in the train station in Kyoto because the kanji characters for exit and everything was in English except exit. Exit was not in English, and I tried looking for it, but it wasn't, I swear. Maybe like somewhere in the main entrance it was, but not where I ended up. So it was a hard struggle trying to find the exit because Kyoto Station is gigantic. It's like 3 or 5 stories and I didn't know where I was. But I somehow managed to get out. If you get lost, you'll get to explore more of Japan. Just make sure that you don't run into a bad neighborhood, but I don't think that's really possible because in Japan it's so safe. Everything and everyone will help you, and if you look lost in like the Kansai area, not really in the Tokyo area. The Tokyo area is more for business people, and they're kind of mean, and they're used to the tourists. Let's resume. I really enjoyed my experience at the University of Shiga Prefecture. So one of the nice things that the university did for us was they signed us up with a host family for a weekend. They were super nice and they welcomed me. They gave me fruit in Japan for the first time, and I never had fruit before. Like, I had banana because it was pretty cheap, but all fruit in Japan is very expensive. So having like the little bit of fruit they gave me, like grapes and like peaches and apples, oh my gosh, the fruit in Japan is so good. Like here in the US, it's crap compared to the one in Japan. But I really enjoyed my time with them. We also made like soba noodles, homemade soba noodles, and like mini sushi. It's not like sushi, it's like a different type of sushi, and they're like smaller. They were super cute, and I loved making homemade food, especially because now I can do it here at home. So in the end of the program, I also had a goodbye party, and it was really special with all the international students and all the teachers and the study abroad staff. So my overall experience in the program was amazing, and I really hope that I can come back and visit all my friends. Let me know in the comments what you're interested in about Japan, and I will try my best to answer all your questions. And I hope you enjoyed this video, so if you liked this video, make sure you click on the like button and subscribe to me if you want to see more of my channels, and I will see you soon.